Alright boys, best of 5, number 2 for the day. It is Gumiho versus Rogue, and once again I want to apologize for the black bars to the left and the right of the screen. I just arrived in Germany 1.5 days ago and I'm currently at a friend's place hijacking his internet and also his living room. So we are not really working with the setup that I usually have in Korea, therefore we have those black bars. It's gonna be a problem that will be solved in just a bit once my equipment is here from Korea. So yeah, for today we have to make do with it, so my apologies. But let's have a look at this game. It's actually going to be a really great match between Gumiho, starting to the bottom right here on Deadwing, our first map in the series, and all the way to the top right it is a Rogue. Gumiho versus Rogue should be a pretty awesome game. This is gonna be a lot of fun here and I hope you're gonna enjoy it as much as I will for sure. Terran versus Zerg, always a great matchup, and these two have been playing a great tournament thus far, especially Gumiho with great games that he showed against Stance. He had some very nice matches, especially the last game in the best of 3 series that they played against each other was absolutely crazy. But right now we have him in the best of 5 against his Zerg opponent to the top right here. And the one thing that I really want to highlight is that we have, once again, the victor is going to advance already for them to the main tournament. Like the tournament being held in November, MSI Beat IT. It's going to be amazing, and one of the two players that you see here is going to advance. We are in the winners bracket, and it means that the loser of this best of 5 match has another chance in the losers bracket to qualify. 3 players in total qualify for the main tournament today, and yeah, let's check out how this is going to work out for the two of them. Rogue up here to the top with a hatch first, going straight into the spawning pool, as you can see, and all the way down to the bottom right, what we're going to see from Gumiho. He has an opening with Reaper. So he goes for the Reaper opening here on this map in particular. Already starts with the scouting with the SCV. We have also an Overlord with a scout right to the bottom, right? And that's actually pretty cool for Rogue because he gets the scout as fast as he possibly could on this map. No problems with scouting into the wrong direction. So everything is absolutely awesome for him. He's going to see that in just a second. And there we have the expansion also for Gumiho. So let's see how Rogue is going to play this. Very aggressive style that we've seen in a few of the games that he played yesterday. He was facing several Terrans already, and he put them not only on the brink of defeat, but he pushed them right off the cliff, and they all died a painful death and dropped them into the losers bracket, while he proceeded through the winners bracket to face Gumiho now in those semifinals. The scouts all the way up to the top, Reaper number 1 on the way. No second Reaper is being built, and there's already 4 Zerglings out just welcoming that Reaper, and that Reaper is like, holy shit, and just jumps down that cliff immediately. It's like a pretty bad day, start into the day as a Reaper. If you jump up the first cliff and then suddenly you are just surrounded by a few Zerglings, you're like, yeah, screw that. That's not gonna happen to me. I'm gonna go back home right away. Attacking those eggs is a bit futile. Nothing really you can do about that. Well, a bit of a quick lag that we had here. Hopefully nothing that yeah, disturbs the players. But yeah, the early Reaper, sometimes it just looks like one of those guys that just really can't do anything. You always expect, when you actually played StarCraft 2 already during the Wings of Liberty times, and you know the old Reapers that against buildings had those grenades that they launched, that was something where you were very much scared when you saw like a few Reapers entering your base. They could just do so much damage against structures. It was crazy. Right now, you don't really have to worry about that anymore. They can of course be a bit of a nuisance in the early game, and definitely a pain in the ass if there are too many of them and you don't have anything to deal with them. Have to just run away with your drones. But in a scenario like this, Rogue is going to look at this and he's just going to stifle a yawn and be like, oh yeah, try, my friend, just try. For Gumiho, on the other hand, we have now with the positioning on the barracks and also the tech lab part of play where he wants to go into Banshees. We have double refinery for him. It's going to be the Cloak, it's going to be the Banshee, and I am psyched to see how that is going to work out for him. The Hellions at the front are trying to put some pressure up here to the third base, onto the natural, and then the Banshee is going to try and enter the main base to do some damage here. Baneling Nest is already on the way. We've seen a lot of players try to go, for example, on early Hellbat aggression on a map like Deadwing. It's definitely something that you can do. And I love how Rogue is already just deploying all of his Overlords and putting them in positions where he will be able to see incoming draw plays, incoming Banshees. And that might trigger a Viking later on by Gumiho, saying just like, okay, if you have all of your Overlords this far out on the map, a Viking will go a long way here. and I'll be able to kill a lot of your units. But for now, it is the Banshee. We have Banshee on the way and Tech Lab for the barracks to get Stim. And talking about like scouting, we have the Overlord moving in, double Marine on the way, and Rogue is just moving in right now. But he's already seeing that there's something missing, that the barracks without a Tech Lab just yet, there is something somewhere that he could scout. And wow, I actually think he saw it, didn't he? Nope, he didn't. He didn't see it, so Rogue didn't really get the view on the Stargate, but with all the stuff that he saw and that he didn't see in the main base, he's probably already anticipating that there might be some kind of attack coming his way. Extra queens are going to help him with the defense. We have 4 queens on the map so far. He's getting another 2 that puts the queen count up to 6. I think the Banshee was by now already scouted by his Zerglings over there. Maybe he just missed it. The Hellions didn't miss the Zerglings though, but by now he knows. Okay, now he knows definitely what's coming, and there they are. Spore Crawlers are being built, and the Banshee is a bit too fast. It's, yeah, there it is. We have Cloak finally started, or finally done, and let's see how many kills he gets with that. At the front, the Hellions are trying to break through. Nothing they can do against those units though. Up here at the top, still trying to take down a few Harvesters. 4 Harvesters kills? Mwah. Banshee is still alive, that's all that matters for now, I guess, but you want to do a bit more than that if you go for a Banshee commitment. That Spore Crawler is in a good position, and yeah, not a lot that he can kill here. He's still trying to find an opening, trying to find some drone that is not protected by the Spore Crawlers, but he can't really do anything here just yet. But at least it gives Gumiho a bit of map presence, a bit of map control that he can utilize against his opponent. We have the 3rd base for Gumiho done as well, right down here at the mineral patches. Doesn't really upgrade it into an orbital just yet. Gumiho with a... I don't want to really call it a macro mistake or anything. I don't want to call it sloppy, because that's not really the truth. But he's a bit slow on the draw here. Nothing that will cost him the game, but it's something where especially players like Rogue kind of shine. More gas already taken. Woo la la! Look at that. Raven immediately, double barracks, double factory behind it, and we have him with double upgrades in the double armory. We're gonna see Mech being built, and that from a player who played Mech Bio yesterday against Stats in a Terran versus Protoss. Triple Banshee also for Gumiho. He is going all out with this. He could force an easy cancel on that 4th base if he wanted to, but he goes into the main base and he's gonna try and kill some queens. He's gonna try and kill a queen or 2 there, already taking down Harvesters. Few Zerglings as well as he get the queen, and no, not quite, but wow, it was close. And he is really pushing the limits here of the Spore Crawler range, going for the gas. How much can he actually kill? There was a transfuse already. Gets the gas, kills 1. Is he going to get one of the queens? Not quite. The Overseer is there for the vision. But I really like how Gumiho is playing this currently. A lot of aggression. We have him already with the Thor's building. We have him with a lot of Banshees in the game. The 4th base is something that he could have sniped. He could have killed it. Even the queens off creep here would not have been able to do anything with the Overseer. So he might be able to just put some more pressure on, but at least he's going to try and just like control the creep spread. And that's going to be important. When the whole map is spread, or the whole map is like covered in creep, Mech is going to become even more sluggish than it already is. A bit of an attempt to just do some damage down here at the bottom left. Yeah, but not too much that he can do there. Thors are in the game, and suddenly we have Infestation Pit started, and also Roach Warren, because Rogue says like, well, wait a second. Triple Banshee and a first Thor? Yeah, you're gonna play Mech, my friend. And I should probably prepare that I can also go into Swarm Host, or at least into a fast Hive Tech. He still plays with a few initial Mutalisks, and that's gonna be an interesting move, just because I'm curious if you really can put some pressure on, considering how many units we already have, especially Thors, for Gumiho and missile turrets. I like the choice to go into Starport, usually into Vikings. Usually you would be like, is that really worth it? But like, you can perfectly zone if you have against Mutalisks, if you have just a few Vikings, just a couple, and then you have the Thors to really help out with that. And of course, all those Overlords that we mentioned earlier are another like big target for him. We have Zerglings now on the map. Here comes also for Rogue the Infestation Pit with the Enduring Locusts upgrade. And yeah, this game is going to become very interesting, like super fast. I already like how we see 84 drones against 71 Harvesters, both of them opting more for a late game here. 2 upgrades on the way for Mech. Gumiho with a very solid position on 3 bases with a 4th on the way. 4 bases for his opponent, for Rogue. But this is going to be a become a pretty cool game. It's all about the angle of attack and where you can move in. And talking about players moving in, we already see Gumiho moving out. We have him straight with a move with his mech, but of course the counter aggression over here, that might be a problem, especially with the Mutalisk now flying in. Only one Thor, and with the targeting priority against air, he can do a lot of damage there, but the problem that he has is that there's currently nothing else. Does he kill the Thor? No, he doesn't, and he's losing a couple of the Mutalisks as well in the process. But Rogue is still trying to get another base over here. That's going to be base number 5 for him. Gumiho is moving out once again, and his army supply is still at 100 against 100. Gumiho is on the move. Swarm hosts are being built. 2 upgrades for Gumiho, not done just yet. A lot of siege tanks with the mix here too. 6 siege tanks is building 3 additional one. We have 3 Thors, and also still those additional... Oh, they're the Hellbat transmorph. You have 18 Hellbats. Can Gumiho kill him here, or is Rogue gonna break through with the Banelings moving in where the siege tanks? There they are, trying to get their shots off. The Thors with the damage, but is it enough? It doesn't really look like it. Most of those siege tanks are already gone, on the Roaches alone on the low ground are already taking down everything they can in their path. Even the Hellbats not really... even the Hellbats can't really push this back. And that was a very nice cleanup by Rogue that we saw there. Gumiho just not really ready for this attack just yet. 7,400 resources lost against 6,500. Gumiho losing a bit too much, and Rogue immediately going to go for the counter aggression. He's going to try and push through. There are 3 siege tanks. Can he really contest those with all of those Hellbats? It does not look likely, and he needs to move back for now. Gumiho is not done completely just yet though. He still has those triple Banshees, and the Banshees a bit of a pain in the ass here, and quite literally they're taking down now the hatch, trying to take that on, and he will be able to take down this one base. He's gonna snipe it. He's gonna snipe it easy peasy. There it is, and now he can even kill a few more drones if he wants to, but he moves back for now. So structures lost. It's 1 hatch and 22 creep tumors, as well as the extractor. In terms of units lost, it's a bit of a different game that we see there. Even a few swarm hosts have already been killed. But let's find out how exactly Gumiho is going to play it from here on out. He killed the base, and he might be able to snipe this one as well. That would throw Rogue back to a 3-base economy, and that would be absolutely great for Gumiho. And it looks really like he can be... can he do it? Can he do it? The Overseer is moving in! Oh, it's going to be so close! I think he's going to save it, isn't he? He's going to save the hatch. Wow, Rogue here with a perfect timing on that. 130 hit points are left, and now the only question that remains is, will Gumiho succeed in sending a few more units over there to take this out? There's not a lot of damage that he has to dish out, but he still needs to somehow kill it. A Queen with a Transfuse could help. Rogue, of course, not Gumiho. But yeah, there are the Vikings. How many? 14 Mutalisk. The Vikings are there as well. Gets the Overseer. And one of the Mutalisks is about to die, but no Thors yet. He's building them now, and he needs them. Vikings are shit against Mutalisk. It is a truth that was the case. It was true in Wings of Liberty. It's still true in the Heart of the Swarm. But if you have 1 or 2 Thors on the low ground, then Vikings can be great. They have an insane range, and they can just utilize that range to make sure that you can never really engage them, because as soon as you do, the Thors are gonna be part of it as well. Up here to the top, we now have a few Hellions trying to do some damage, but they still can't take down this hatch. But they see that there's another one, so he knows exactly about all the movements that Rogue makes. We have a 4-base economy for Gumiho right now. Don't forget about that. With the 3 upgrades nearly done, and the upgrades are going to be very important for this. The mech army is about to move out again. Gumiho is nearly maxed out in an army supply. That means that we have both of them on exactly the same level. The Spore Crawlers are moving in, but yeah, they are not really going to be able to do anything here. It's more, of course, going to be a matter of how much those locusts or the swarm hosts can push back the mech army, but there are only 8 of them, not too many. We have a bit of a bank starting to build up for Rogue, and that's going to be important. It's also the Mutalisk and the rest of the army that can always just try to move in and maybe take down even those rocks to get another path of attack that they can utilize to put pressure on the Gumiho. Here come the Mutalisks. Where are the... There's 1 missile turret and a Thor here. That could help. The Thor needs to move in. The Thor needs to turn around, and apparently... Okay, the second Thor goes in, but that's not enough. He needs more. He needs more than only 1 Thor. And there come the... Yeah, there come the Vikings. Exactly what we talked about earlier. The Thor dies, but 2 of the Mutalisks are already gone. And he can kill a lot more than that. 1 down. Does he get more than this? It doesn't look like it. But yeah, he can goes up straight and help out over here as well. But the Banelings suddenly start to attack. Move straight into those siege tanks, but they don't do enough damage. And suddenly Rogue is getting slaughtered. He's melting away under that siege tank Thor composition, that pressure that we see, and suddenly the swarm hosts are on the run as well. But Rogue, he had that bank that we talked about earlier. He's using it to just remax once again, but Gumiho is driving a wedge between the bases of the Zerg player. At least he's attempting to do that. Ultralisk Cavern is now on the way, now that we have the Hive Tech completed for Rogue. Adrenal Glands, +2 attack for ranged and melee. The Mutal is still looking for an opportunity to do some damage here, and the Roaches are also trying to do exactly that, but the Siege Tanks are there, and the Siege Tanks are helping out against all of the Roaches, so doing a very good job at keeping those bases alive and protecting them. The rest of the mech army is starting to move slowly forward. The Siege Tanks are just frog hopping just forward one after another, leapfrogging their way into the heart of the Zerg player space. So many tanks! Oh, you can't win with Roaches against this many tanks and Thors. This is just not gonna happen. You need a different composition for that. That's him just sacrificing too many units for naught. He needs to somehow get those Locusts into a good position. The Swarm Hosts themselves are already being attacked. The Locusts gone, and one Spinecrawler after another is being attacked here. Rogue under so much pressure, and he's starting to crumble. He's starting to crumble. Suddenly the Siege Tanks are right at his doorstep, ready to take down another hatch. Two of the hatches very much exposed. The Spinecrawler is already gone, and what can Rogue do here? He just doesn't have the number in Swarm Hosts, and his Ultralists aren't ready just yet. GG, as Gumiho is making it happen, takes down Rogue in game number 1 of the best of 5 series, takes the lead. Very well played by the Terran player, and we're going to jump into game number 2 in just a few seconds here at the MSI Beat IT Korean qualifier. Game number 2 on Overgrowth, the best of 5 series in the semi-final at the MSI Beat IT Korean qualifier. To the bottom left of the map we have Gumiho, the Towel Terran, and starting to the top right we have Rogue. In another Terran versus Zerg, Gumiho already in the lead with a 1-0 thanks to his mech strategy on Deadwing. And a few of you might not even know why he's called the Towel Terran. Gumiho actually has that disease where you sweat a lot, where you sweat like crazy, and that's one of the main reasons why he carries a towel with him into the playing booth. So he usually has his mouse covered with a towel because his hand gets so sweaty that he needs that towel to have a proper grip on his mouse, and that's why he got away with the nickname Towel Terran. He's also known as a nine-tailed fox, so he's in a 1-0 lead here, and I have to give it to him. The first game that he played against Rogue was an impressive one. Rogue himself, of course, not too happy with the results so far, but this is the best of 5, and if anything lets you get away with 1 or 2 losses, it is a best of 5. So let's see how exactly it's going to turn out for the Zerg player in game number 2. He wants to tie things up and starts with a 14 pool here. No early hatch against Gumiho. Might be a bit worried that there could be an attempt to double barracks him. So this is a more safer opening for him, but Gumiho is going straight into refinery and barracks. Nothing out of the ordinary for him just yet. But Rogue seems to have quite some respect for his opponent here and basically just says, okay, I want to play this safe. Gumiho is always a player, or always was a player, that risks playing unorthodox strategies. He's not quite the Terran Cats, he's also not really the Korean QXC, but he is someone who experiments. He's someone who showed us against Protoss a mix between bio and mech. He's someone who in the past committed heavily to Reapers and was trying to make that work. And also in Wings of Liberty, for example, when nobody really played Ghost against Zerg, except to try and snipe maybe Broodlords, he was one who really tried to counter Mass Infestor with Ghost play, with EMPs, with snipes, and one of the very few that made that work when other Terran players just didn't even try to use that. So Gumiho is someone where you don't really know what you're up against. Of course, he usually plays still the very strong and standard strategies and is very strong with that, as we could observe in game number 1, but he is someone where you don't 100% know what you're gonna face, and that's something to keep in mind here as well. So Rogue playing a more safer strategy against him, but also having now the option to send those Zerglings over cross map. And Gumiho is playing it a bit greedy. He doesn't play with a second Reaper here. Those Zerglings will be able to go straight for that SCV. So Gumiho already getting punished. Rogue not only with the early pool having a bit more of a safer part in case that he's being double barracks, but he can get those Zerglings out much faster. And that's like 6 Zerglings that are now going to take down this SCV, delaying this expansion. And that Reaper just says like, oh damn it, has now to move back the entire way. this is not... Well, he actually could try and maybe even force the cancel. If he commits all of those, he could maybe force the cancel in the command center, and he realizes that too, and sends them back. Maybe was already a bit too late. Looks like he might just be able to pull it off. If he would have done it immediately, I'm pretty sure he could have forced the cancel, and he still will be able to force it. Oh my god! Wow, that's gonna be atrocious for Gumiho. Losing the SCV, losing 1, and also losing... Okay, it's not a struck just lost because he didn't lose it, but he had to cancel it. That's delaying the expansion for an eternity. Oh, wow. I have to give it to Rogue. He played great with a good opening, but Gumiho played greedy. Gumiho played very greedy. I love how Rogue knew exactly about the path the Reaper would take. He saw him with the Overlord and then hit his Zerglings, but still Gumiho played this very greedy. A lot of Terran players will still get that second Reaper because they say, yeah, I need something back at home to really defend against the Zerglings if he gets them. But Gumiho just said like, alright, I don't believe that you are going to build those Zerglings. And then when Rogue suddenly realized, well, I can't only delay that, I can actually cancel that. I can force a cancel on the command center, and that's what he did there. So an amazing opening for Rogue, and Gumiho is just like probably just using his towel to go for a bit of a face palm because he knows that this is looking very bad for him. And Rogue is just looking at this game and is like, wait a second, I just denied your base? I could go straight for a Roach Warren here and maybe even be aggressive with that. He goes straight into a lair, and there's very little that Gumiho can do now. Gumiho is missing a lot of the income. Everything that he has, everything that he was planning to do got delayed by so much that Rogue has so many options now and so many possibilities that he's probably a bit overwhelmed. I mean, you know that too many opportunities or too much choice can actually paralyze you. And yeah, Rogue just needs to make sure that that's not going to be the case. He is like, okay, how do I kill you now? How do I use that advantage that I have to win this game and tie the series up? Gumiho, of course, he's going to try and just like exploit maybe some weakness in Rogue's play and see what exactly the Zerg player does. If he gets into the base with, let's say, for example, the Blue Flame Hellbats, that would be great for him, and it's going to be a pretty difficult thing to hold. But on the other hand, we have the Roach one already and the +1 attack upgrade on the way. The speed is going to be started in a bit. Yeah, Rogue has a pretty sick position here. I mean, just look at the army supply and the worker supply. 26 harvesters against 51. Like, duh. Has like a sick income here. But the Hellbats could do quite some damage. And does Rogue have the army supply yet? No, but he's getting those Roaches now. Rogue was playing it a bit greedy after he forced that cancel, but he has still the Queens for the defense, and now with the Roaches tickling in, it looks very, very difficult for Gumiho. But still, it's a valiant effort with the Siege Tank here, and this is not easy to beat. He needs to take down the Siege Tank, and okay, he gets the tank. That gives him a bit more breathing room and a bit more time. And Rogue is now moving in with the Roaches. He has still energy on those Queens for the transfuse and he's using it. And Gumiho is tapping out. GG! And Rogue takes game number 2 and ties the series up in this best of 5 series. Game number 3 in the best of 5 series here at the MSI Beat IT Korean qualifier. Starting to the bottom right, we have Gumiho. And, well, our Terran player played a very impressive first game with Mech. And then in the second game, he got a bit blindsided by Rogue's initial 6 Zerglings that the Zerg player built. Now we are on Catalina, map number 3. And starting to the top, we have Rogue. So let's find out how Rogue is going to try and win it this game. He got a very, very early lead in the last match, and that led to Gumiho all-inning him and failing, so therefore Rogue winning the game. By now the series is tied, and as you know already, whoever wins this best of 5 is gonna qualify for the tournament in Taiwan, the main tournament, and it's gonna be pretty awesome games actually back then. I'm really looking forward to that. But for now, we have our Terran versus Zerg here. We're gonna jump into the losers bracket after this match is done, and that's another thing that of course we should highlight here, that every player who loses in the winners bracket still has another shot. Also something that I want to point out as well, by the way, Gumiho with a bit of a faster build here. The barracks built at 11 and the gas there as well, so we're gonna see maybe a bit more of a Reaper commitment for him. But yeah, definitely Reapers for him, sorry. a little bit babbling here, because the one thing that I really wanted to point out again is that, since people asked in Twitch earlier, is also we have still those black bars to the left and to the right side, and I'm very well aware of it, but I just moved back to Germany and my equipment has not arrived yet. I'm not even at my own place. I'm at a friend's place hijacking his internet and living room, so these are just like things that we're gonna fix in the near future, but for today we have to still make do with it. So just that you know what's up, and please let people know in the Twitch chat later if they ask about it. For now we have gas taken and also spawning pool before the expansion has been put into place, and therefore what we're going to see here is a faster speed and maybe even that aggression earlier that we saw from Rogue already in game number 2. But now Gumiho all the way back at home, how much is he really going to commit to the Reapers here? Already a full wall up at the front, and unfortunately for Rogue, he scouted into the wrong direction first. He scouted to the left side of the map, and we have Gumiho down to the bottom right, so he didn't really see anything. Second Reaper is now already on the way, with the barracks timing and everything else that we saw for Gumiho. He's committing a bit more to his Reaper aggression than he did in the last game. The problem for him is going to be that with the earlier pool, the Queen is going to be out quite fast, and with the attempt to go into speed this fast in the game, Rogue also won't have a problem chasing those Reapers down once the upgrade is done. And as you can see, Gumiho with the scout to the left side of the map didn't really get a lucky scout off here either, so nothing he can do about that. But we have him with the second Reaper, and that will help him against Zerglings that try to run past his army. For now we have, well, not really calling it an army, maybe a one-man army, but that's about it. That Reaper is going to spot the expansion and then of course going to jump into the main base, but there's nothing really that the Reaper can do in regards to damage. But we have a third Reaper now also being built, and then the transition straight into the factory. So already an attempt to be a bit more aggressive. That Reaper is still back at home. Gumiho definitely learned his lesson from the last game, and he's looking at it and is like, yeah, that SCV is not gonna die. The SCV is of course very grateful and is most likely, well, maybe the wife of the SCV is gonna make a cake and give it to the Reaper and be like, hey, thanks very much, Reaper, like I heard about the guy that died in the last game, and I'm really thankful that you are just like protecting my husband right now, so here, have a cake, and whenever you want to have something, just like come over. The male SCV has to be a bit careful that there's not suddenly going to be an affair starter with the Reaper and the wife SCV, so, but yeah. The Reaper itself is a bit of a boss, so moves straight in and kills a couple of Zerglings there, so that's of course something that women always fall for, like those badass types, and that's exactly what we see here. So the male SCV is now maybe alive, but still in a lot of trouble, because it's just more attractive to date a Reaper than date an SCV. I mean, who would you rather date? Depends a little bit on what kind of like woman you are as well, if you want stability or if you want the adventure, I guess. The SCV has a more stable income. The Reaper lives a life on the edge and could die any second. But yeah, let's focus a bit on those three boys. This is a bit like the three Musketeers. They are missing D'Artagnan right now, but they want to do some damage as well. So we have 3 Reapers, and they're going to be joined soon by 2 Hellions. That's like the I don't know. In German we would call them Kampfbuggies, but whatever we should call those guys, they are the support for the Reapers, and the Reapers are moving in like bosses, like they are going straight for their queen, and well, they might actually be able to kill that, but the Zerglings are there, and that speed upgrade on the Zerglings, as we pointed out earlier, that's something that you really have to deal with, and it's something that can be pretty nasty. So for now, we have tech into Leia also on the way. And first, does he actually kill one of the queens? Should be able to save that. And Rogue actually does. So, harvest account, let's look at that. 42 against 30. And the transition into the starport with Banshee, with Cloak. So it looks like we're going to see the mech performance that we saw from Gumiho in game number 1. Once again, the commitment to Banshees is definitely there. He's getting that once again. He wants to kill all of those Zerglings, and he's actually getting them. The Reaper is down. 2 Reapers are down. The 3 Musketeers are reduced to only 1 Musketeer. Maybe that's now D'Artagnan or whatever. But yeah, so we have once more Banshee commitment. More than only one is going straight for Banshee number 2. First one is already out on the map and is trying to just sneak in with a few kills there. But a triple queen is already trying to prevent this. We still have 2 bases for Rogue, so he has a very tough time moving out and getting a third. But considering that he's going straight into a Spire build, it won't matter for him like too much. The scout down to the bottom of the map is already having a quick look at what exactly is going on in Terran Player's main base and revealing his techs. Also, Widow Mines are now being built as the Banshee is moving in again. 3 kills already. Overseer chasing it away from her now. There's the additional factory that we've already waited for. 2 actually, 2 at a time. And the armory is also being built. No third base just yet for the Terran player, but still trying to put a bit of a damper on the expansion attempts of Rogue, who didn't really send out anything. We have him instead also with the Mutalisk being built. It's a pretty fast spire that we see for him. That should have been scouted. Was it actually scouted? Let me double check that. No, he didn't see it. I thought that the Banshee has seen that, but it's not the case. Oh, that's a lot of Zerglings that fall victim to the Hellions here. And he's trying to sneak in. He's actually going straight for the Queen. He's trying to kill the Queen, but the Mutalisks are already there just in time to push those Hellions back. The Hellions with the attempt to maybe kill 1 or 2 Harvesters, but the Queen blocking like a boss the ramp and forcing the Hellions out. So very nice defense that we just saw there by Gumiho. I really like this. Double Widow Mine up here to the right. Not only going to be able to take down... Oh, actually, I think he saw it, yeah. 2 of the Zerglings are dead, but what about the Mutalisk? Do we have Thors in the game already? No, we don't. Do we have any kind of anti-air? No, we do not. Only the missile turrets are being built, but the expansion already delayed. He takes down the first SCV. He kills the supply depot here, and suddenly the Zerglings are in the base as well. He can kill the rest of the supply depot if he wants, and he's just pressuring once more the main base. That wall is gonna fall. Takes down the supply depot as well. Zerglings are in there. Oh, nice delay on that Thor. Really well done, and now suddenly, of course, it's the missile turrets that are completely exposed. I love how Rogue is taking the initiative here and how he's really starting to pressure in. He just uses those Mutalisks to take down all the Hellions, and the Zerglings are taking down the add-ons here. Can always just go straight at the missile turrets as well to give those Mutalisks a bit of a chance. The Contaminate just delayed that Thor for so long. One Thor is there. He's trying to defend it, but it's the G as Rogue finds a weakness in Gumiho's play, exploits it, and just completely smashes his face. And I love that. Kicking Gumiho while he was down. That was the perfect opening for Rogue, and his build with that 2 base into Spire works out perfectly for him, taking the 2-1 lead in the best of 5 series, now being only 1 map away from winning it all, taking the best of 5 and advancing to the main tournament, to the MSI Beat IT tournament in Taiwan. It could be the last map of the best of 5 series at the MSI Beat IT qualifier, the Korean qualifier, the last day, the semi-final. Best of 5 between Gumiho, starting to the bottom left of Nimbus in blue and going up against Rogue, starting to the top right. This could be the game that decides it all. If Gumiho is not able to win it here, then Rogue will be the victor, advancing to the main tournament. And so far, Rogue has played a very nice series. The first game was maybe something where he couldn't really get a grasp on it, couldn't really take it all, but in the next few games, Rogue just completely demolished Gumiho. He saw weaknesses in the playstyle of Gumiho. He exploited them immediately, didn't leave Gumiho a chance, and especially in the last game, it was such a tiny window that Rogue had, but still, he made it work, and it was very, very impressive to see that. So good job by Rogue. Gumiho struggling against his opponent. What is he gonna do this time? We have the barracks building for him. We have gas, well, it should be taken in just a few seconds, and there it is. So it takes the gas, and up here to the top, we see this time an expansion first on Nimbus, hatch first attempt for Rogue. So it's going to be a pretty interesting game between the two of them, just because there's so much on the line for Gumiho already. And I'm very, very excited to see how exactly this is going to work out for Rogue. Is he going to be able to take this game, or is it going to be Gumiho who is able to win it here? So expansion here already building for Rogue. He's going to get this first base up. We have him actually with the spawning pool probably going to start in just a second, and there it is. So you still have to get that for Gumiho. We don't see an expansion just yet, which is also pretty interesting, because one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that Nimbus is one of those maps where you can just get this pocket expand up here, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of Terran players will get a command center first on this map. Gumiho doesn't want to chance it, and Rogue is gonna get away with the build that he has there. Not really anything where you say like, oh my god, he got away with it, because in the end it's just a hatch first into spawning pool and extractor, but still. The Reaper, again, employed by Gumiho for the early scouting information. He's going to go to the top left first to get that. The Overlords are going to scout not only the bottom right but top left, so he knows already that it is cross position by process of elimination. There's the expansion that we've been waiting for a bit. And yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how exactly that's going to plan out right now for the Terran player here. For this game, I'm really super excited because not only did we have a very interesting first match between the two of them, where we saw especially Gumiho playing very well with that style that he had there, but the one thing that's really going to be quite interesting for me personally is if Rogue is able to just use that aggression again to force Gumiho into submission. And for Gumiho, we have the first factory being built. That Banshee play that we saw him use in 2 games really brought Rogue at the brought the defeat for Rogue in game number 1, but in the second game that fast tech into Spire was a lot better for the Zerg player. And of course one of the things that also played a huge role is that Gumiho never really saw it. Like, he missed it with the Banshee when he was flying into the main base of his opponent. If he would have known about that a bit earlier, I think we would have seen much more early defense against air for him, but the Mutalisks really blindsided him, and that was a big issue for him, especially since, like, with the Contaminate, he also delayed that Thor. If that Thor pops out earlier, Rogue might not be able to win it, but Rogue made all the right moves there. The Contaminate, the move in with the Zerglings, taking down that M1 missile turret, having the Mutalisks there, it just lined up very well for him. Be it as it may, for now we have the Reaper moving up to the top right. Just dancing around a little bit, not really committing to anything here. And interestingly enough, a speed upgrade for the Overlords. This is an upgrade that you see especially on bigger maps when you want to know what's going on, and Rogue wants to find out what's going on here. As mentioned before, we have the German robot already there. It's right under the vision of the Overlord. The German robot is known to just work all day long and never really taking a break, and he's just a workhorse. He's just like working, working, and working. It's like the work ethic that he has that really impresses me, and that's what we see there. It's like he never takes a break. That Overlord, on the other hand, is going to take a break after he's done with the scouting information. We have quite a lot of Zerglings building for Rogue, apparently in an attempt to force those units back here. The drone has been saved by building an extractor and is now moving into a hatch. The drone wants to be a butterfly. It wants to be not a tiny extractor, but it wants to be a hatch with the potential to someday morph into a hive. Very unlikely that's going to happen, but what would you rather be? A hatch or an extractor? Pretty easy choice in my opinion, so the drone goes for that. Double engineering bay, and that is apparently the first game where we're going to see a bio from Gumiho. So more of a bio build, and it's already Stim that's being researched here for him, so he changes things up with a third base underway. And for Rogue, we see now the base over here saturated. We have still the queens out, spreading creep against the units over here. And Gumiho apparently not really in a position where he says like, alright, I'm going to be able to take down those queens, especially since we still have energy for the transfuse. 1 transfuse, 2 transfuses available. 4th queen coming in. There's nothing that those units can do. But we have the Zerglings rushing in. And Gumiho should have everything walled off here, and he does. So the Lynx won't be able to do anything down there. But it's at least an attempt that he has, and of course that's also something that can delay a third base even longer. The base over here, hatch still about to be completed, creep being spread throughout the middle of the map. I like how Rogue is currently playing this with the +1/+1 on the way. We also have Gumiho utilizing those 2 engineering bases that he built earlier with a double upgrade. And 11 more harvesters, as well as a tech into layer. So both of them are on a map like this, on a pretty big map with a cross position, just playing more for the late game. I really love how we have Overlords positioned everywhere for Rogue. So a very nice job when you think about like scouting information and him trying to make sure that drop play is not going to become a big issue against him. If you play against a Zerg player that is going for Mutalisks, you have a very small window where drop play is really going to be super useful for you. But on a big map like this, with the satellite bases spread this far out, drop play can really win you the game, and it's one of the main tools that Terran player use against Zergs still. Of course, it's going to be much more efficient if the Zerg decides to go into a Roach and Hydra composition than Lingmeter Baneling, but still. Drop play, that's where it's at, and if you're good at that, if you're good at your multitasking and macroing it up, then drop play can really take a Zerg player down easy peasy. But for now, we have also the Armory started, so with the Armory lineup, the 2-2 is going to be started right away. We see for the Zerg player the Spire now on the tab, and down here the Zerglings finally meeting the Hellions. That's not going to help them too much, so Gumiho is already in position of 38 army supply against 32. The Harvester supply is better for Rogue, and so far Rogue was completely undisturbed in this game. He is still only 3 bases. There's no 4th for him just yet. And the 4th is then, of course, going to be taken right here, which is exactly what he's going to do right now. 5th base later on to the right side. But yeah, this is kind of where you really want to make sure sure that the creep connects as much as possible. And there are a lot of creep tumors on the map already. 45 doing a decent job here. But we have all that hard work being for naught, because the scan is there, the queens are looking at it, and they're shedding a silent tear for all their babies that they've been put in the world, but like suddenly they're all dying. But the queens, of course, they have also a pretty decent work ethic. Once those creep tumors are gone, they just move back into it, and it's like, okay, there's nothing to be done about it, I guess we have to do it all over again, and that's exactly what they do. But Gumiho isn't done yet. He has a stim upgrade, he doesn't have the combat shield yet, but the 1-1 is done. The problem for him is that speed upgrade for those banelings is nearly completed, and with the additional speed advantage on creep, those banelings, they are like super fast. It's like racing from one edge of the screen to the other and trying to connect here. Ooh, that was a bit of a lag that we had there. Bad timing, but the Zerglings rushing in. Hellion's gone, but the first two medivacs will make sure that those Marines will not die in vain. The problem still is that, of course, without the Mutalisks, he can't really shut down drop play, but the Mutalisks are on the way. 2-2 has been started for both players. Down here, the third is protected by the Great Wall of Gumiho. And yeah, that can of course easily be busted with the banelings or whatnot, but for now it's at least safe against Zergling run-bys. We even have the missile turrets now in place for Gumiho that will help against the Mutalisk. 4 bases against 3, that's currently what we see here. The number of creep tumors in the game by now 75. Those few Marines, like, they are definitely out of position. 1 or 2 of them will probably die. He's fighting off creep right now. He's committing to it. Whoa, what a hit with a Widow Mine! Holy shit, like, he took so many of the Zerglings down there, but Rogue still on the move. Resources lost 3,200 against 2,400 in favor of the Terran player, taking down even more creep tumors. And talking about creep tumors, he only killed 8 so far, but is he gonna drop, is he gonna scan again? Oh my god, that scan is gonna take down so many of the creep tumors, especially the active ones. He's killed 23 by now. Here comes the Zerg player again, but not a lot of banelings that he has there, and without the baneling support, there's just nothing he can do against those Marines. It's a massive amount of Marines that we see there, trying to even take down one of the Overlords, and they will succeed, so kill that off as well. Resources lost heavily in favor now for Gumiho, and he has a lot of potential to be aggressive here. The medivacs, only 4, not too many yet, but he's working on it. He's working to get more into the game. An attempt to just run past with a few Zerglings and kill the reinforcements has already been stopped, at least for now. +3 attack is also on the way. Gumiho just not wasting any time with that. He has a 4th base also in production now, so that will at least close the gap in. Oh, the repair! Oh, woo! He gets it! Wow, he gets that last second repair on the missile turret. 1 kill for the missile turret so far, but forces back the Mutalisk. Good job by Gumiho. Rogue with the attempt to just pressure these positions now, but we have the quadruple drop on the way. Rogue supply blocked after he loses another Overlord. The attempt, of course, by Gumiho to just drop those bases, but it was spotted by an Overlord, so he just kills the Overlord for now. Supply blocks Rogue and tries to find another approach, maybe another angle here that he can use. Thors are now being part of the mix in just a bit as well, and with the prioritizing of air over ground, Thors are just amazing to supplement an army of bio units if you're going up against a lot of Mutalisks. 16 in the game, and I have to say that Gumiho is playing a very nice style here, but Rogue has the better bank. The problem for Rogue, of course, is that he is far away from getting a hive tech done. He's starting the infestation pit now though, so there will be a time when Gumiho just has those 3/3 upgrades, and he will be able to use those. +2 attack upgrade for the Flyers is being started, and for Gumiho it's all about hitting those timings now. He's already keeping the creep spread low, could do maybe even a bit better job at that, but he's killing quite a few of those creep tumors, and he's doing a decent job at making sure that Rogue is not completely snowballing with this. Down here at the bottom, I mean, those few Zerglings are doing still some work, but they can't kill too much. Mutalisks are about to move in again. Widow Mine Trap! Oh, wow! Yeah, that was quite a lot of damage dealt, but they sniped the oh so important first one. One of them is down. Oh, and he loses the Overseer, so now he can't even spot anything here. A lot of momentum now going for Gumiho. These Zerglings can, on the other hand, really be a nuisance now, and he has to kill that first Zergling here with a scan. Apparently we already found out who was lagging here earlier, but we have the 4th base now up, probably going to be a planetary for him. Yep, the upgrade started, and talking about upgrades, the 3/3 is nearly done, and so will be the armor upgrade, the 3rd one. So this is starting to become very concerning for Rogue. The 3-3 is going to allow Gumiho the pushing power that he needs, and he will try to make it work, to like just use the timing window that he has and apply as much damage as possible, maybe take down a base or two, and that's where Rogue is going to be vulnerable, where Rogue is going to try and buy himself some time to get his own upgrades in here, get the adrenal glands, work towards an Ultralisk Cavern, for example. The planetary over here is completed, and 4 missile turret will make sure that those Mutalisks are not going to become a problem either. Down there at the bottom though, the breakthrough at the wall, and Gumiho needs to move back, but he sniped the base over here. Easy peasy, not having a problem whatsoever. And nice, moves back. Is he going to save that Thor? No, he doesn't, but he moves in over here, drops the units. He has another attack going straight for that base to the left side of the map, and suddenly it's very problematic for Rogue to really keep tabs of all these bases. He's sending the Mutalisks in to save this one, but he's losing one Mutalisk, he's losing 2, he might even lose another one. The base over here has already been sniped down here. He lost only 1, so 2 bases for 1. A great trade for Gumiho. Can he snipe another one? It looks like he might be able to pull this off. The Mutalisks are moving in once again, but they still have no support on the ground, and there are way too many Mutalisks that die to this. So once again, Gumiho with a decent position, but the problem for him was that he lost the units to the left side of the map, so he lost a lot of his army supply there. 16,000 resources lost against 11,000. The bank is better for Rogue than it is for Gumiho, and now the +3/+3 upgrades have been started. Adrenal glands as well. The bases that Gumiho took down, that was a big blow to the economy of Rogue, and Gumiho still has a bit of momentum going for him, but his army supply is not as big as it was before. He lost a lot of units at the left side of the map when he was trying to take down this base. He had no problem killing those bases, but can he put those units back? Can he take them down? And it looks like at least the Zerglings don't stand a chance, but the Banelings, that's a different matter. They're rolling in on creep. That's where you never want to fight as a Terran player against a Zerg, but nice splits by Gumiho. Just not strong enough to keep the Marines alive long enough to deal with the Mutalisks. Gumiho is suddenly 40 supply down. The initial aggression was great, taking down 2 bases, only losing 1 himself, but then he lost his army to the left side, and he also lost the units over there. Didn't trade well enough with the army supply. Down here we have 1 Zergling just blocking this spot. Gumiho on 3 mining bases against currently 4 of his opponent. Mutalisks are flying in. There's another one that is being built there, and the 3-3 upgrades are soon to be done for the Zerg player, and then Gumiho is going to lose even a bit more momentum. He's on his last leg here. He needs to win 2 maps in a row if he wants to advance right away. If not, he's going to drop down into the losers bracket, but things are starting to look a bit grim. Rogue is taking the supply lead. He is taking the lead also in upgrades. He's taking that armor upgrade for his flyers. He already has a +2 attack. We see him with Chitinous plating and the Ultralisks. And now he's starting to take the initiative with the Mutalisks on the map as well. With those armor upgrades that he's currently getting, and also that additional attack upgrade, he can take down missile turrets a lot easier than before. There are 3 though by now at this expansion, so he needs to commit quite a lot to really make this work. But the Ultras are going to shield the ground units. We still have the Banelings there. The creep spread is not as impressive anymore as it was before, especially since he did not put down additional creep tumors. And talking about creep tumors, in total Gumiho killed 52 of them. Those are the 2 bases that he killed, but we still have creep tumors on the map, 62 of them. Zerglings rushing in again, a nice dodge on that Widowmine hit, very well done. We have a bit of an attempt to run by and move straight to the top to maybe do some more damage to one of the bases that he has there. There's even more Zerglings that are trying to chase down the few Marines that are still available there. What about those Banelings? We have 28 of them up here at the top. Another drop trying to put some pressure onto the drones on this base, but the Mutalisks are there in time to kill the Medivac. Well done by Rogue, who's maxed out. He's at 200 supply now, and he himself still has a lot of gas. He's massing up that bank again. We have the attempt down here with the Zerglings to once again do some damage against Gumiho's position, and he doesn't scan. He doesn't really know that there are burrowed Zerglings apparently. Up here to the top, another drop has been spotted and taken out. We have another triple drop heading straight towards this base, but the ground army is already there, and the Mutalisks are making their way over, so this is gonna be lost as well if he doesn't really get away as fast as possible, and he's trying to. Mutalisks are not fast enough to catch up with this, so at least for now he's safe. But the armor upgrade for the Mutalisk is done now. The +3 attack upgrade is on the way. Adrenal Glance is completed. 3-3 on the Ultralisk is done. Chitinous Plating. We have Infestors also being granted with the Infestation pit upgrade here on the Pathogen Glance. Down there at the bottom, the Zergling still a constant threat, and he could send them in against those SCVs easy peasy. SCVs killed in the game, 11 against 27 Harvesters lost by Rogue, and there it is. Once more the SCVs moving back. Is he just going to burrow them again? Oh my god, the rest of the army is already moving in, and that is a big issue right now. Bam, losing supply depots, being supply block. Medivacs going down. He only has 7. He's going to lose 2. Gumiho is going to try for some counter aggression, but he might lose this orbital command. If it's going to be sniped, then he has no income here any longer, and this is a big problem. Even if he trades one base for another, he's going to be on the worst end of it. He's 60 supply down at this point, and it looks like the entire army of Rogue is just going straight into the main base. That's where all the production buildings are. If he loses production, he's going to lose way too much. He's going to lose all of his momentum. He might not ever be able to recover here, and it's just like one add-on after another. That Rogue is going to snipe here up to the top. We have another double drop trying to take down one of the bases, but Gumiho is already on the way back using another stim, and he doesn't have the medivacs to make up for all the damage that he takes from one stim after another. Army supply 108 against 63. Rogue might win this with a 3-1 and advance to the main tournament, taking down the base to the top left. Gumiho is trying to do whatever he can, but the planetary alone is already being attacked here as well. There are Banelings, there are Zerglings, and of course the Ultralisk too. This is a goner. Zerglings everywhere, taking Gumiho apart, and he himself is just losing way too much. He's down to 75 overall supply against 150 resources, lost 28 against 29,000, but does it really matter with Gumiho not having anything left? The GG called as Gumiho drops into the losers bracket, and Rogue is advancing to the main tournament in Taiwan. Congratulations to Rogue, the second player after Solar that advances today. Well played, and we are of course now heading towards the loser bracket, where we have the next few matches lined up for you guys.